Bonjour, Kinamagi Nene Ireland Indijnikas, and welcome to this production of Support Coach Television. Today's episode, The Magic Money Bag. First read. Begin by studying a little vocabulary, and the word today is contrast words. Contrast words are words that signal relationships between ideas. For example, the word nevertheless signals a contrast. Something is different from what was described before. The phrase in addition tells you that a new piece of information is being added to what you already read. These words help the reader make a transition from one thought to the next. Sometimes they are called transition words. So, yes, while you hear the term transition words in many situations in writing, they're present in your reading, which goes to make some sense because reading is making sense of other people's writing. So, as you read, pay attention to these transition words and then use them in your writing. Let's try it. Read these sentences from The Magic Money Bag. The following morning, the bundle from the courtyard was gone again. Similarly, this pattern continued on the third and fourth mornings. Think about the relationship between the ideas in the sentences above. Underline the words that help you figure out the relationship. So if I bring up my annotation tool here, I might look at this word similarly. That's going to tell me that what was happening here in part one is still going on in part two, and that it's about the same. That's what's similar. As you read, we're going to find the following words in the Magic Money Bag. Read the sentences before and after the sentence with the word. Think about the relationship between the ideas, and then write your own sentences using the words on the line below. So let's look at 112 and the word therefore. Here's a sentence before. Let's get our annotation tool here. Give a little color to this. Here's our word therefore. Our sentence before it. You take care of yourselves without complaining. Therefore, let's get another color here. I would like to offer you a treasure that you can take back to your house and use to help support and sustain yourself and your wife. So, what are we connecting? We're connecting the idea that you take care of yourselves without complaining, you do what you're supposed to do, and how that brings rewards to people who are hard workers. Let's clear these ones. Look at the other. However, on 113, so let's scroll down there. I spot the word because it's bolded, which means it's written in a thicker, darker font. Here's our word, however. Let's look at our sentences below or before it. Each day, the woodcutter and his wife would rise as usual, walk up the mountain, collect the firewood for their hut, and return home at dark. Once home, however, now let's change our color to one that we haven't just used. They would reach into their money bag. One beautiful silver coin would come rolling out. However, sometimes is a contrast word. And our contrast here is between the work they do and the reward they receive. They're not connected in this situation. Let's clear the drawings there. Let's get our third word, although, on 114. Where have you heard the word although before? So let's get our tools again. Here's our word. Let's get the thicker one. Here's our word although. Prior to it, we have so much money, exclaimed woodcutter. Why would we build a small cottage when we could build a large brick house? That'd be so much better. Now, so here's what he wants to do. Although his wife did not agree, the woodcutter started spending the money on everything they would need for their new house. So in this case, it is another contrast. Here's what we have in part one, what he wanted to do. And let's change the color there. And although his wife didn't agree, here's what they did. So I almost would rather this be part of the yellow here. Although his wife did not agree, the woodcutter started spending the money on everything anyway. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to do something and someone else just did completely the opposite, no matter what? So although signals contrast. All right, practicing our first read skill, ask and answer questions. This is something you probably do naturally, but it is actually part of our comprehension. When you ask and answer questions, you think about things you want to know as you read. You ask yourself questions about such things as the reason for a character's actions or plot events. Then you look for answers to these questions as you continue reading. Asking questions as you read helps you understand the text better. And like I said, this is a natural process. I doubt many of you ask a question and write it down as if you were going to create a worksheet. You probably think like, I wonder what's going to happen next. That's a question. And then you answer it by continuing to read. Or, I think that person's the bad guy. Which really is that person the bad guy? And then you answer with your own inferences based on the story. So let's try it. We're going to read the following paragraph from a Cherokee fable called Why Rabbit Has a Short Tail. And then we're going to think about the questions we might ask. Fox tied 4 fish to his long bushy tail. When he saw Rabbit coming, he dangled his tail in the icy water. Rabbit hopped over. What are you doing, Fox? Asked Rabbit. I am fishing. I hope to catch enough fish to sell in the village so I can buy a nice tail comb. Fox suspected Rabbit would want the tail comb for his own tail, but he knew that Rabbit was not as clever as he was. He also knew that he was faster and could beat him to the village. He started walking away. I am done for the day, he said. See you later. As soon as he walked away, Rabbit put his long tail into the water. What questions might you ask about the story? Draw a box around something that you are wondering about. So I'll go ahead and model it. Instead of a box, though, I'm just going to use highlighted colors because you see how well this box work goes for me. I might ask myself, what happens next? Which would require me to either keep reading or infer that because of the fact that it's called Why Rabbit Has a Short Tail, and right here he had a long tail, I might be able to infer that something bad is going to happen to his tail. I might also think when I see here he knew Rabbit was not as clever as he was, I might think, what is the fox up to? Not what does the fox say, but what does the fox think? You know that song just went in your head. That's a free Easter egg from our television program here. You may have even answered and asked other questions beyond what I just covered here. You might ask yourself, why does the rabbit have a long tail? I thought that rabbits had short, bushy tails. Since the answer to this question is not in the text, you would have to keep reading to see if you could find the answer. Does the title give you a clue? I hope so, because we already covered that. The first read skills, which are present in the orange boxes in your packet, will be covered on the worksheet page 271 and on the corresponding Google form found within the first read of this Google Classroom. Now let's go read our story and see how we can apply asking and answering questions. Let's see what you have. Sa minogijigad, bumapee.